Thank you so much for joining. And we have 63 people currently. I guess during the introduction, there'll be others joining. I'll give you an overview of what we're going to talk about today. My name is Kalina. I think that you all know me by now. I'm leading channel marketing at Chaos Group. And today we'll be talking about the latest product updates. And we'll have Annie from Jivava from our 3D delivery team who will be talking about the latest things around V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max. And then we have a presentation by Boris, who is a regional sales manager, and he'll be talking about the sales updates. And following his presentation will be a short presentation by myself discussing the marketing resources we have for the upcoming releases. And then we'll follow with a Q&A session of around 10 minutes. I hope that we'll be able to actually squeeze in and run faster through the content so we have more time for questions and answers, which I think will be also the most interesting part for you. And just a brief introduction of the people we have here. I don't know if you're familiar with Annie. She's been presenting at various events around the globe, and we've been traveling together a lot. To different destinations. Annie is an architect by education. She's a specialist in V-Ray for Max, Maya, SketchUp, Rhino, Revit. So she's covering most of our product portfolio. Then we have Boris, who joined in December 2018, and he's currently he's currently a regional sales manager for the EMEA market. And then myself. Without further ado, I'll be giving the floor to Annie. I just want to mention that you can be pinging your questions during the presentation as we go, and at the end of the event, I'll read out your questions, and then we'll take them together with our regional sales managers for the Americas and APAC. And also we have someone from our product marketing team with us as well. So thank you so much for being here and giving the floor to Annie.
Thank you, Kalina. I think you should be seeing my screen right now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, hi everyone. I hope you are all well and healthy. We have a lot of things planned for today's session, so without any further ado, I would like to go ahead and begin with the part of my presentation, and it's going to be about what's new in V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max. So I will start with a general overview of V-Ray 5. I will talk a bit about the type of users that will benefit the most from the new features and improvements, and of course, what are the type of benefits for them when they're going to implement them in their workflows. And just to give you a better understanding of those benefits, I will briefly touch upon some of the new features and which industries will find them mostly useful from having them in their pipelines. So what we look to provide with V-Ray 5 is actually the most complete 3D rendering solution for artists and designers, meaning that with just one tool, they can create images from start to finish by using an efficient material library workflow and also a lot of material presets for faster look development, as well as easily create iterations of images without leaving the V-Ray environment. And altogether, just being able to focus more on creative exploration rather than the technical aspects of creating a render. a good portion of users actually work in the media and entertainment sector, but the majority of V-Ray for 3ds Max users are freelancers, or they are artists that are working in smaller archivist studios. And this type of users, they are very technical. They have a very good understanding of space, form, and function. They also are used to deliver very high quality designs that usually exceed their clients' expectations. Sorry. And most of the time, they are actually used to working on many projects all at the same time. So they really value the software quality and efficiency that it brings to their workflow. So what are the benefits of actually having V-Ray 5 in your workflow? Well, first of all, it's going to save a lot of time to the users, because creating render could be a time-consuming process. And with a number of shading improvements that have been implemented, they will allow them to focus more on their designs rather than worry about creating materials, textures, or switching to other applications for adding some modifications to those materials and textures. They can also make their workflow more efficient by using the tool not just for rendering, but also for basic compositing and creating different light scenarios without the need to switch between different applications. And of course, all of this is going to let the user focus more on the creative part rather than the technical stuff when it comes to making the render. And to provide like a more clear understanding of how those features are going to benefit the different types of users and industries, I will cover some of the new implementations. So let's take a look. As a 3D designer, I can myself 3D artist, I can share with you that creating and working with shaders and materials could be very time-consuming aspect of the work. Because especially if you are working in architecture or interior design, you will have lots of objects that require a lot of iterations until you reach the point that you like. So with the new improvements when it comes to materials like the presets, I will show you in a bit a few examples. Materials presets, also the library with materials as well, is going to help them save a lot of time when it comes to shading the scene. There have been also interesting improvements to the standard V-Ray material. I will show you again an example in a minute. Not only architects, but also product designers are going to benefit a lot from those improvements. We also have added a new V-Ray car paint material, which probably is going to be used mostly by product designers rather than architectural visualizations. And why presets are useful? Well, if you are working with an exterior or an interior design, you will have lots of objects, and they will probably use materials that fall into one of the categories, like metal, glass, or ceramics. So instead of going and creating all materials from scratch, which is a manual work, and you will have to spend some time modifying the standard material, you just simply choose a preset and you're good to go. So you can very quickly start adjusting the material to your preference so it fits better your project. The V-Ray library, this is something that has been requested for quite some time by a lot of 3D artists and designers. And what we have added to the material library is actually the most commonly used materials for architecture. They could be also useful for product designers. They're separated in different categories. For example, concrete, we have metals, plastic, and the best part is that you can either take the materials and use them to shade the scene, or you can use them as a base and modify the material and make it more custom for your project. Like I mentioned, the very standard material have been improved by the addition of sheen and coat layer. And let me show you, for example. Usually in interior renders, interior designers are working with lots of fabrics. Um, and to achieve a more realistic looking result, they will have to go through a set of different nodes that have lots of parameters, and to achieve the same looking result in V-Ray 5, actually you don't have to go through many steps. All you have to do is just go to the sheen layer rollout, and with just the color and one parameter, you can basically get absolutely the same result without spending too much time modifying different textures and working with different parameters. So this is really, really fast, especially when you have lots of fabrics in your scenes. And this is helpful not just for interior designers, but also for product designers if they're working with fabrics. The code layer, it works very similar. And to give you a more simple example, uh, sometimes you will have a furniture that is made from wood, and it's not going to be very reflective. But on top of it, you have a varnish that is very, very glossy. And these types of materials are very common in interior projects. So to achieve something like that, you will have to, oops, sorry, switched. Um, to achieve something like that, you will have to actually create blend material, then set up the base material, then set up the code material, and work with the blend material to adjust it so it fits your project. And the code layer improvement in the V-Ray standard material actually allows you to skip all of this and simply use the very standard material. You set it like a base, and on top of it, you just enable the code layer, and you can get the same results with much less steps between them. When the 3D designers and architects are creating renders and they're working with shaders, a very common issue is that when you're using a texture from the internet, it's going to be very repetitive. And 3D artists, they always try to avoid that. And a way to avoid that is either work with it in 3ds Max or switch to a different application. And of course, this is a manual work. It's very time consuming. In V-Ray 5, actually, we added a few options to solve this issue much faster. So instead of taking your textures to other applications to modify them and create more variety, you can very quickly do that directly in 3ds Max. So here, for example, it's very common for wooden floors or cladding, or maybe even trees if you have an exterior render. What you will have is a same texture repeated everywhere, and it's going to be looking very repetitive. And usually what you will have to do is go in the 3ds Max, copy it a few times, make some modifications with color corrections, and this could take quite a lot of time. But we have improved the possibilities for randomizations. So now with just 3 parameters, you can very easily enable randomization. So you can change the colors, you can change the saturations of the textures without the need to go into the nodes and do adjustments there. Or you can make them brighter, lighter by adjusting the gamma. So this again is a very huge time saver when it comes to shading. A very common approach for freelancers and for architectural visualizers is to take their image into a different software for some color adjustments, some compositing, and usually the final image will go through some color adjustments. So in V-Ray 5, what we wanted to provide is an option to do all of those modifications directly in the frame buffer. Not only the frame buffer changed how it looks, but it also has some new possibilities, some functionalities. This means that they can take advantage of layer compositing, as well as create different light scenarios using a light mix. Creating different light scenarios could be also time consuming because you will have to go to the 3ds Max, do some adjustments to the light sources in your scene, do a render, see if you like it, then go back and forth until you find the right balance. And actually with the light mix, you have access to all of your light sources in the scene, and you can take the client or your colleague sit next to you and just run some iterations, try out different options. You can go from a day render to a night render, and this while you are still in interactive mode, so you don't have to wait for the render to finish to do all of that. And of course, if you like the results, you can always bake them into the scene, and the next time you render, you will have the same results. This is a quick example of when it comes to layer compositing. So usually what they do is they take the render elements and they run some color adjustments to the render to slightly change it or to improve how it looks. And all of that could be very easily done in the frame buffer. And you have full control over the image. You can control from reflections to lights to refractions. Everything is right there, and it's very easy and easy to manipulate it, and even save some presets. And the last thing that I want to show you is the new V-Ray Sky model. When it comes to architectural visualization, especially exteriors, very popular types of renders are the ones that happen during the day or dusk and dawn, because they're very eye-catchy and they're very interesting to look at. And with the new V-Ray Sky model, it's the one on the right. So this is the old Sky model and the implemented new one. As you can see, especially the difference at sunrise and sundown is very, very visible. It produces more realistic looking results, and it will be especially helpful for exterior visualizations. And since my time is actually limited, there are, of course, many more very useful features. But for now, this is it. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Annie. Precisely 15 minutes. Amazing. So leaving the floor now to Boris. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kali. Thank you, Annie, also for this very nice presentation. I hope you see the screen already and you hear me well.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks everyone to joining us today and taking time to learn more about Chaos Group new product. I hope all of you are in a good mood and in a good shape in these times. It was a very busy time for us last month to deliver news to our community. Many things will happen this June. We start an exciting release cycle with V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max. We have lots in store in terms of product development, and we are excited to share first with you, our partners, and then with our customers. Um, hmm. In this presentation, we will cover what is coming in the next few months for V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max, our new render node packs, and the new V-Ray collection. So hope you enjoy and benefit from it. Just 1 second. So what we have prepared based on the requests, what's going on? Okay. Based on requests and feedback, we wanted to respond as maximum as possible to all our users' needs, as they actually always been the center of our universe. So we try to give the most suitable option for them. That is why we have so wide offering. We
Bobby, I cannot hear you. Guys, sorry, just give us a few seconds to check what's wrong with Bobby's mic. Guys, we cannot connect to Bobby right now, so I'll give the floor to Stamen, who is our regional sales manager for the Americas, and he will continue with the presentation. Apologies once again.
Hello everyone, this is Taman speaking. I'm a regional sales manager for Americas region. So we are facing the risk of presenting a webinar from home office. So I will back up Bobby.
I'll give you presenter rights. Is that okay?
Okay.
Do you have
Yes,
the
sure,
presentation
please.
on? Okay. Thank you, Stella. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I guess you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, so what stands behind the the offerings that we are going to launch in the next couple of days. So this was the customer feedback and the requests coming from customers. So we have decided to keep as much flexible and scalable licensing as possible. So this includes a variety of licenses types to fit everyone's customer needs. And also we are building up on flexibility, so we have well-suited options for managing customers' budgets. Then we want to keep the have even greater value for the customers' investment. And now a customer who has skipped an upgrade can trade in their version 3 license for 3ds Max license at a discounted at a discount for a new annual license. Also, we want to provide customers extra rendering power at a great value. So customers now can choose to render on Chaos Cloud or benefit the new render node packs that will be introduced with this release wave. So we are also aiming to have easier license managing, which is coming with the new license of V-Ray, new product V-Ray collections that will include more than 15 Chaos Group products. So let's go and let's start with V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max. So the very important is that we are not changing the licensing. So we're keeping the perpetual licensing model, and also we have the well-known term licenses, which are annual and monthly. And speaking about upgrades, we have free upgrades for new perpetual licenses which were purchased on and after 29th of April, the release date of V-Ray 5 beta. And then also, you know quite well that there is direct access to version 5 for the active term licenses, including education. And very important, this is the last call for V-Ray 3 perpetual customers to upgrade to V-Ray Next. Because this offering will be discontinued in the next couple of days with the release of version 5 of V-Ray for 3ds Max. Also, but we're opening a new trade-in promo for V-Ray 3 users which have not upgraded till the release date, and starting with the release date of V-Ray 5 for Max until 30th of September, customers can trade in their version 3 licenses and save 20% for the first year of an annual V-Ray license. In August, we will send you an additional communication if we keep this end date of 30th of September, or we may consider extending it. So a little bit on the administration of the orders. We will have a new product, which is a trading product, which will be in the upgrade license section in the partner portal, so that this product will be managed as an automatic order. Speaking about V-Ray 5 render nodes, there will be no change in the price of a single render node, and but we will introduce the volume discount into new render node packs. So we will have still the licensing of single license of perpetual, and term licenses annual and monthly, and the new render node packs will be perpetual and annual packs of 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100 render nodes. It's important that each render node license pack is an individual product, so these licenses cannot be split. Upgrades of render nodes, similarly as usual. Actually, the free upgrades will for perpetual licenses will come with the release of V-Ray 5 beta on April. So every purchase after 29th of April will receive a free automatic upgrade to version 5. And also, of course, all term licenses will have direct access to V-Ray 5 render node. Upgrades of perpetual V-Ray 3 render nodes to next V-Ray next render nodes with the current volume discount scheme will be ending September 30th. So users having V-Ray 3 render node licenses can upgrade them to a perpetual next version up to September 30th. And we will introduce the trade-in offer for V-Ray next perpetual render node license to V-Ray 5 for single licenses and for packs which will be available upon the release. Excuse me, this was for perpetual licenses, upgrade for single licenses and packs. And there will be a trade-in promo for V-Ray 3 render nodes for with a 20% discount, which will be an offer for single licenses. So trade-in promo for perpetual V-Ray 3 render node licenses, which will be transferred to an annual license, single license with a 20% discount for the first year, and this offer will be valid until September 30. And it's important that the discount for customers which have more than 5 render nodes, they can benefit the discounts which are implemented into the V-Ray 5 render node packs. Okay, also for the transition of perpetual V-Ray next render nodes or annual V-Ray render nodes to V-Ray 5 render node packs, you will have to contact your channel manager because these orders will be processed manually. So one license and infinite possibilities coming with V-Ray collection. So what is V-Ray collection? It is the ultimate 3D rendering and simulation toolsets which artists and designers looking for total creative freedom and flexibility can get instant access to more than 15 Chaos Group products and services with only one license. So V-Ray collection users can work freely between 3D applications, applying their own mix of photorealistic rendering, fluid simulation, and real-time ray traced scene exploration to any project. In future, we will be adding more new products and services that will be coming. So what are the main benefits? It's V-Ray collection provides creative freedom and flexibility in all needed rendering, all-in-one rendering toolset. It simplifies workflows and allows painless transfer of scene and assets between multiple 3D applications with a very simple interaction between internal teams and customers. Also, it reduces the complexity and the hassle of managing multiple licenses and different rendering software versions with varying expiring dates. Which are the products that are implemented in V-Ray collection? So all well-known V-Ray products, V-Ray for 3ds Max, Maya, SketchUp, Rhino, Revit, Modo Unreal, and Cinema 4D, Nuke. Actually, you can see all V-Ray products here. Also, VirScans license and Fluid Simulations licenses, Phoenix for 3ds Max and Maya. Also, I guess you know our Project Lavinia, real-time ray tracing software, and which will be implemented after once we have some commercial licensing, but it's already implemented in the collection. And the Chaos Cloud rendering service, we have 20. There implemented 20 Chaos Cloud credits with each annual license for V-Ray collection. What about the pricing and licensing? V-Ray collection is available as an annual floating license. Multiple products can be simultaneously run on a single machine, and the pricing is 699 USD for US dollars for 1 year, and 629 euro or 539 British pounds. We are also offering upgrade options. Active annual license is a V-Ray Next or Phoenix FD4. V-Ray annual licenses for V-Ray and Phoenix can be upgraded to V-Ray collection at any time. A new annual term for V-Ray collection will begin at the time of the upgrade, and it's important that the unused portion of the current annual license will be credited towards the purchase of V-Ray collection, and this will go through an automatic order and automatic calculation of the price. Also, we will have a trade-in promo for V-Ray Next and Phoenix FD perpetual licenses. Users can switch to a collection at 590 USD or discounted price of 530 euro and 445 British pounds. So the upgrade of V-Ray or Phoenix FD annual license, it's an automated order. Just a quick glimpse where it can be found. It can be found in the upgrade section in partner portal, and if for placing an order for perpetual V-Ray or perpetual V-Ray Next and perpetual Phoenix FD product, this process will go through a manual order, and you will have to contact your channel manager. So as you can see, as you have seen, there is a wide variety of offers which add value and suit different users' needs, but actually our users can find it tough to choose the right options. So the multiple license customers will be very happy if they benefit your advice on possible upgrade paths. And we advise that initially identifying the customer need is crucial in the process of selling, so that actually this will enhance your sales force, and they can consult the customers in reviewing their best fit offer. And the step for closing a deal is really determining the customer preference on the type of license, if it's a perpetual or a term license. And we keep the options of perpetual, and just someone can confirm if you see my screen.
No, someone tried to make me a presenter. So give me a second. And make presenter. Yes. You should be, yeah. Should be fine now.
Thank you. Okay, I'm back. So speaking about the options that we keep with perpetual licenses and term licenses, it's really about helping customer to understand, first of all, understand customer need, and then helping customer in choosing the perpetual or annual option. So we all know the pros and cons for perpetual and annual, but I will quickly go through this because this will help in the sales process. So for the process of a perpetual is that customer really pay one time and the license never expires, but this happens at a higher initial cost, and this license is limited to the major version access, and there is a hard scalability and license management. Also, additional investment is needed for accessing the following versions. At the same time, the annual rental has a lower initial cost and access to always access to the latest version, very easy scalability for short-term projects, and easy license management, also easy budget management. And the concern is recurring payment and time limitation. So this actually understanding customer need and the preference on the type of license is closing a lot the ways and the path for achieving it for existing customers. So existing customer can choosing perpetual option can get to V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max by acquiring a new license or upgrading from version next. And the ones that prefer term licenses, annual single license of V-Ray for 2ds Max can be achieved from acquiring a new license or trade in from perpetual V-Ray 3 for 3ds Max. And then for the customers who want to benefit the wide variety of products that we offer, can do it with the annual V-Ray collection, purchasing a new one, or upgrading from a single product to a new one. So V-Ray collection and credit the unused portion. So this is for the annual V-Ray users which want to switch to V-Ray collection. And the third option is a trade-in from a perpetual next license for a new V-Ray collection license on a discounted price. We have a lot of more to share in the upcoming months. Actually, today we will you will receive an email for the launch of V-Ray 5 for Maya beta, and more other products will follow. And we hope with these tools we have presented, we will be able to enhance your sales efforts. Please let us know if you have other ideas or suggestions, and we will be very happy to support you with additional materials and information. Actually, we will see the sales enabling materials and marketing materials prepared in the next slides coming from Kalina. And as always, please don't hesitate to reach out to your general manager for with feedback or questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stamo. I'm going to make myself a presenter now. Okay, my screen. 110 people currently. Okay, so the purpose of my presentation basically is to share. Someone is not muted though. Maybe
muted.
It's you. Yeah. The purpose of my presentation is to share with you the marketing materials that we've been working on and that we're working on for basically every release. Because we do have so many materials available on the partner portal when it's difficult to find them sometimes and to orient yourself around the resources. I just want to remind you what we have available and also to tell you what kind of end user communication will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. So starting off with the communication plan for V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max. What we have coming up next week is an end user email, which will come out on the day of the release. You will also receive an email as always. Then there will be an end user webinar the week after the release, and a workflow webinar which will take place mid-July, which will be a more technical and detailed overview of the latest features in V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max, and it will be led by our 3D delivery team. So that's what's coming up in terms of communications and content to end users. We will be sharing the precise dates as we go. So currently we cannot share specific dates, but the release of V-Ray 5 for Macs will be next week. I also wanted just to tell you that this webinar is recorded and we will be sharing it on our Chaos2Partners YouTube channel and in the follow-up email. So if you've missed something or if there was an information overload for you, you'll be able to review again the webinar and to share it internally. Keep in mind that the information is confidential. So please don't share it externally, keep it for yourself. So we this is something that I also showed during the Chaos2Partners Chaos Cloud webinar some time ago, some weeks ago. We started creating those partner resources kits for the documents by product for each of the products that we have. Because of the fact that there's so much of documentation and marketing resources on the partner portal. Basically, in the partner resources kit, which I'll download. So I'm just right now in the partner portal because I wanted to show you how to basically reach this document. So I'll download the V-Ray for Macs resources kit, and I'll briefly walk over it. So just give me a second to zoom it in a bit. So the kind of marketing resources we have for V-Ray for 3ds Max currently are images, and those images have been created by V-Ray users and artists that we've been in touch with. Those can help you in building your galleries and showcasing different projects on your websites. Then we have a battle card which has been updated for the 5 version of 3ds Max. So next week you'll receive an updated version of this document. The battle card, as you know, is an overview of the benefits and competitive advantages of the product, and it does also provide you some tools for and cues for objection handling. It helps you to equip your sales force with talking points, and there is some cross comparison with competitive products. Then comes the product sheet, which is a document that contains the key features and the latest features of a product. And once again, this is something that prepares your sales force for customer-facing meetings and events, and also it could be provided also as a product collateral to your end customers. The pricing and licensing documentation, which you're all familiar with, and banners with the latest visuals for a specific release. The banners are also provided in a PSD, in a Photoshop format, so that you can adjust the messaging and also localize it. What will be coming up next for V-Ray for 3ds Max will be a visual and content guide for the V-Ray for 3ds Max website pages and e-store listings. This guide will come out shortly. We did the same material for Chaos Cloud. Due to the cluster of upcoming releases that we had, it's still in construction and in the making, but we'll soon share this one as well. A product presentation, which can be used for sales presentations and for client meetings. We'll also share with you trial nurtures, which you can use for your campaigns. And there are a bunch of videos coming up, so quick start tutorials and other videos coming out as well for V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max. And case studies, there are 3 case studies currently available, which are for the next version. So we'll be working on new case studies so that you can use them for reference and validation, and to showcase examples of how you can use V-Ray 5 for 3ds Max in a client's workflow. So this is basically an overview of the materials that we have available for V-Ray 5 for Max, and specifically for the upcoming release. There is another piece of material which is quite useful and I started recently working on, which is a content hub for each of the major releases coming out. So what is a content hub basically? A content hub is a collection of different documents which you can use for end client communication. So to enhance your communications plan and strategy, it contains an outline of the materials available. In this case, the Content Hub contains an end user release email copy. It contains banners and header images for social media. It contains social media content and snippets and banners and content for your paid ads. I will just show you some of the documents. So for example, for the email content, as you can see, you do have the copy ready for localization. For the social media content, again, you have the copy ready for localization with suggested dates. Yeah, you do have a content calendar as well available here. This is something that is confidential for now, so I've also noted that on the partner portal, but yeah, please don't share it externally. And a bunch of banners. Once again, you also have them in Photoshop format. For the V-Ray collection, we also have uploaded partner banners. As usual, we have the new product logo, a partner product sheet, and an FAQ. Yeah, with an FAQ specifically for partners. Here is the product sheet and a bunch of banners and V-Ray collection logo in different formats. Okay, so this is it in terms of documentation that I wanted to share with you. 1 second. I'll be now opening the floor for questions. This is the team of